This is, on paper, the highlight of this season's W3Champions finals. Happy, currently 3rd place in the ELO rank versus Fly, currently 4th place in the ELO rank. This is as close as it gets. 2 big favorites. Very rare to see Fly in tournaments. Can he challenge Happy as he did so often? There's no better caster team on the planet to do this than Carson and Remo.
The entire world, Remo Demo, the entire universe. Look at us go.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's prove that right now how good we are. Oh yeah. Yes, yeah.
As you can tell, everybody, we're pretty excited for this one. Yeah, this is a huge highlight for all of us here. I'm sure everyone in the chat as well is super hyped. And without further ado, Tidehunters, upper left, Mr. Fly, bottom right, Mr. Happy, 2 of the GOATs. And what can we expect to see here, Remo Demo? What are you thinking?
Robin Sparkles. That was her name. Yes, we're going to see Farseer Headhunters, won't we? Yes, a Farseer first here with a fast tech. It seems like Happy with the DK Ghoul build. That is the norm nowadays. Sometimes we see a Lich Expo, maybe even, but that always seems a bit unreliable, a bit dangerous. Happy tends to go with what is most safe. You know, when we did the drawings last week and we saw this matchup, we were all going, oh yeah, and rubbing our hands together. And I had a rather bold prediction. I said Happy was going to eat him alive. But they played since then in another tournament, and now it slips my mind. God damn it, what was it again? Was it TP League? Yes, and there indeed Fly was the victor. Notably though, that was Neddy's. Now we're on W3Champions, so Fly perhaps having better chances than I imagined. And yeah, we're gonna have hopefully a full best of 3. Starting off on Tidehunters, by the way. Our maps will be Tidehunters first, Last Refuge second, and third, Springtime. And I would say the first 2 maps, in my estimation, favor the Orc a bit. The way I see it is the more creeps there are, the better it is for the Orc, basically always.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Even if it's Blade Master or Farseer, the more creepy you can get done, the more passive you can be as the Orc player, the better it can be. Last hits are essential here. What Fly's trying to do, of course, he's fast-teching behind this, but he needs to delay the Death Knight's creeping, cannot allow him to get level 3 without being disrupted, and of course, importantly, forcing coils, not ensuring that the DK has full mana once he gets level 3 so he cannot harass the Headhunters. That's what Fly's goal is. He might not get a ton of ghoul kills, he might not get a ton of last hits, but it's all about forcing the coils and delaying the creeping. Already 60 experience, though, for Fly.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Every single last hit here really matters quite a bit. There was a really hype best of 5 recently between Happy and Lin. Last map was Autumn Leaves, and I think the reason that Happy lost that game was because of weak early game. Losing too many last hits. Losing 1 last hit here I think is fine, but honestly, the margin for error has already been made use of. I think Happy cannot lose any more last hits, otherwise it's going to be a bad early game for him. Oh, secures that.
Close, yeah, and that's something that Lin is so good at. Missed coil and the ghoul goes down. That's a big pickoff for Fly. This is all gravy. Remember, he's fast-teching behind this. He's almost already tier 2, so he's getting all this done with just a Farseer. Happy very often just goes balls to the wall for that second camp, just secures the level 2 at all costs. And he has managed to do that. Also has double claws, by the way. Not going to be bad for that Lich, that Dark Ranger later on. But Fly so far, I think, has been in the driver's seat. 112 XP, cannot complain with that at all. And only 1 coil currently for Happy left over.
Yeah, fairly even game here. If Happy hadn't lost the Ghoul, I'd say this is pretty good for him, especially considering the double claws. They are not so effective so far on the DK, but boy, oh boy, are they going to have value over time on the Lich. Finally, Headhunter is trying to come out. And it's always a difficult question for the Orcs, right? You want to pressure the DK, slow him down, of course, but at some point, you're going to have to fall back and start creeping. And when that perfect moment is not so easy to judge.
Yeah, especially because you have so few Headhunters with the fast tech, you kind of need to use the Farseer, or at least use the Wolves to help that Tauren Chieftain creep up, which is a little bit of a bummer sometimes. You would prefer to have the Farseer be aggressive and at least be scouting the entire time to ensure the Tauren Chieftain is safe. But for now, Fly is going to secure that level 2 from the green camp in the middle. He's going for a bestiary. Of course, he'll go for tier 3 tech eventually. And Happy, very close. 1 camp away from level 3, which the Ghouls are going to secure now with the split creeping to the left-hand side of the map. And then once the Lich comes out, that's going to be level 2 Coil, level 1 Nova. That's pretty much one-shotting Headhunters if they're in range.
Happy making use of the new Tidehunters. This is the updated version where this camp where the ghouls are right now is a bit smaller. I think in the old version, they might not be able to take it solo, but here they are. It's perfectly enough for level 3, and now the DK has a bazooka in his arm, in the Frostmourne. The 200 damage death coil, very dangerous. One Headhunter goes down right away. And, well, it's about minimizing Headhunter losses here for Fly now while creeping up the TC. One Headhunter going down is totally fine, but you want to make sure you don't lose too many.
Yeah, I'd say 2 to 3 is within the acceptable range. But we have seen players, even Fly himself, lose to literally 2 heroes. They've, lose their Tauren Chieftain. They lose like 5 Headhunters. We see them lose their first Raider. You can easily crumble to this Death Knight and especially the Lich once they both meet up and start to be very, very aggressive. But Fly will soon have that first Raider with Ensnare, which is going to make it a whole lot easier to deal with the Death Knight harass. The Lich is on the way. Another about 30 seconds before the Lich is in range of the Headhunters.
Good scouting by Happy. Always kept the intel of where his opponent is with the Skellies. And that second charge of Dark Ritual Dagger, by the way, was really helpful. DK was super low, but he used it to heal up, and now back to 500 HP. Oh, and this creep deck. Imagine if the Lich was here. This would be so dangerous. But because of the late tech, the Lich is still not quite ready yet. The TC 1.5. Happy hasn't gotten too many kills here, but he certainly slowed down the TC fairly effectively.
And the TC has no Stomp yet, so there's not really much threat of, say, a Speed Scroll, Ensnare, Stomp, Hero Focus once that Lich comes in range. But there's the first Ensnare. Oh, a lot of damage on the Death Knight. Is this just going to be a TP? It is. So one more Headhunter goes down to the Nova. The Lich actually stays in range to get the last hit on the Ogre Magi.
Oh, wow.
But it's on its cooldown currently.
Ooh, that was so close. Both playing here on the edge. I think Happy making a slight execution mistake. I think the DK should have held back there longer until the Lich was actually in range. Perhaps a bit too fast there in the mix. And Fly gets the item. Big healing. Great find. Lost only 2 Headhunters, excuse me. Forced the TP. And that all puts him in a pretty good position. Still very even game, but if there is a slight lead to be found, I'd say perhaps it's with Fly.
Yeah, it's very acceptable amount of losses for Fly. Very rarely do you get out of this situation without losing any Headhunters, but now Happy just going to continue creeping, continue powering up that Lich with potentially more strong items here. Already the double claws in hand, and now it will be Ring of Regen. Not actually bad for the low Death Knight, especially because he has no Town Portal. Already had to use, I think, a potion. Yeah, he used a potion of healing there. And plenty more consumables on Tidehunters. Fly already got the greater heal, of course, but now Happy going to look for that greater mana.
Tidehunters also, importantly, only has 1 shop, and that Invo Potion is so important here. I'd say it's the undead. You can sometimes skip it if you want to be daring, but the Orc really needs it. You need it on the TC. You need to break the silence and get the Stomp off. If the TC doesn't connect on the ghouls, normally that means the Orc has already lost the fight. So important to pick up that item here. Happy will oftentimes try to snipe that item early on, but since his TP was gone, it was too dangerous for him, I think, to go into the middle. Had to give up the Invo Potion, and that again puts Fly in a good spot along with the TC. About to get level 3 right here.
Happy did get the greater mana from the Turtle Camp, but I doubt he can win a fight, especially with this TC now getting to level 3, level 2 Stomp. It's going to be difficult for Fly to really win a fight here. He's just going to try to delay and contest until his Frenzy and his Destroyer form is finished. He now has the Orb on the Lich. Is this a strong timing for Happy to fight? He's poking and prodding and looking for some damage, but I feel like if a Stomp lands flush, Happy's not going to have a good fight here.
Oh my god, he got all the last hits. Lich got all the last hits here so far. At least 3 of them. There's actually 4 Murlocs on the ground. Lich getting plenty of experience, almost level 3 now. DK has double full mana, with 300 in the tank right now, and the big mana still available. Dark Ranger comes in. And if Happy lands the silence and doesn't get stomped, I think he's going to be in a good position in this fight. This first stomp is going to be making such a huge difference.
And of course, there's no Hex yet, or else we may see a Hex on the Dark Ranger and then the Stomp to land right away. That's a common play you'll see. But the Heal Wave first for the Shadowhunter. Item still up for grabs from this red camp. That could be a big one, of course. But Happy is much stronger than he was even 10, 15 seconds ago now with this Dark Ranger and the Frenzy and the first Destroyer. But still no Town Portal and no real safety net for the Heroes of Happy. I think that is the reason why he's a little bit timid to engage here.
That is quite dangerous. The Lich especially is pretty squishy. Considering there's no Hex, it's not that as dangerous as it could be. But second Raider coming in. Now we have the double ensnare. This is, by the way, another benefit of playing ghouls. The heroes are much more protected than playing with fiends, because just naturally the ghouls are always in front. And if you don't deal with the ghouls first, they're going to eat you alive. So because of how the fight works, normally that way the heroes are safer. But going in now, ensnare on the Dark Ranger right away. Silence on the TC. Is he going to use the Emerald Potion to break through? Yes, he is, but the ghouls pre-split away from the TC. Only a single one getting stomped. Destroyer gonna be going down most likely, but what about the Shadow Hunter? Heat Wave coming in last second, just barely able to save himself. Speed Throw had to be invested as well. And the Destroyer might be needed. Ghouls make their way to the backline. Happy would love to have a heal throw, but doesn't have one. TC trying to land the next big stomp. The ghouls always trying to stay away from the TC, doing that well so far, but almost all of them are gonna go down here. But the Shadow Hunter also close to falling. Lich hurt as well. This is right on the edge. Happy has to coil his second hero, saves the Lich, gets the next kill. It's level 3 on the Lich now, but Happy has hardly any units left.
The greater mana still available for the Death Knight. The statue in the back is forced away, not healing, not getting mana currently. The Fiend is also getting low. That Stomp doesn't land the best, but at least lands on the heroes. The last couple of Headhunters are being picked off, but that Shadow Hunter, the fact that Shadow Hunter is still alive and there was so much mana invested, was really huge for Fly there. But now we're down to 38 versus 42. Seems like Fly was winning that fight, but then he's the one left with only a single unit, and Happy, with that greater mana, might be able to win over this Marauder here.
Yeah, I think it's really the greater mana that ensures that Happy is the winner of this fight. Without that item, I think Fly might be the one here holding this position for himself. Happy's really going to give up the Marauder. I feel like he should contest this. Big ensnare pulls in the Destroyer, trying to heal him with the coil. DK almost level 4, by the way. Another big level up. Lich has one Nova available. What's he going to use it on? Destroyer actually does survive. Dark Ranger far forward. Man, everything here right on the edge. TC still lots of mana left over, but same cannot be said for the Shadow Hunter and Farseer.
Yeah, there's soon to be one heal wave, and there's also a heal scroll. That's really the only sustain that Fly currently has to stay in this fight. Already used to push from vulnerability in the greater heal. The Raider goes down immediately. Just 2 Headhunters. They are +2, but not quite a strong army. As soon as the TC can land a good stomp, Fly's in no position to follow it up with damage, and it seems like Happy's army is just too big, but Happy is going to actually give up the Marauder here, and that's going to be a Healthstone, a huge item for Fly, but he's definitely going to have to give up this next Turtle Camp now.
Oh, even going to pop that TP to get it out. There was a Nova ready. Happy gladly going to take the consumable here now. And Happy, by the way, transitioning into Fiends. Some games we see Happy transitioning into Fiends. I think nowadays it's most of the games, whereas just a few weeks ago he was mostly just spamming Destroyers and Ghouls. I'm not exactly sure why. I feel like Ghouls may actually work out better in the fight, especially when it gets super scrappy. But what you can do with this playstyle, Destroyers and Fiends, is invest way more effectively into upgrades. And upgrades are also very good on the Berserkers. There we have 2-0 already. Happy has no upgrades to speak of at all so far. So that's one way he might fall behind. Fly picks up the next item. Ring it was, right? Actually really good on the TC.
Scroll the Beast could be used for Happy very effectively, of course, because there is no walkers for Fly. The Shadow Hunter got level 2. That means the Hex on the Dark Ranger could be a play that Fly could look for if the Destroyers are slightly out of position. And Happy has the control of the shop now. Another Potion of Vulnerability will be a godsend, but it actually was already purchased. I suppose Fly snuck out when I wasn't looking. Yeah, and picked it up on the Torn Chieftain. Didn't notice that, but that's a huge find for Fly. But now 53 against 49. Raiders slightly out of position. Fly has to be so careful with those.
Happy has been eager to battle ever since he got his tier 3 upgrades. We saw the fight at the juicy part of the map in the bottom left, and now we're close to Fly's main. Shows you how confident Happy is feeling now. 58 supply for him, 51 for Fly. Happy, by the way, completely out of lumber. Only has one ghoul back at home. As we engage into the fight, Coiled on the Raider, that one goes down right away. Stomp only on the DK. He's level 4, he's pretty tanky. Heal Scroll used to save him. So many skellies on the ground. This is looking like a very tough fight for Fly. He may have to give up this creep camp.
The Aura Ring of Regen statue combination is so money. The Death Knight was half HP, and now he's almost up to full HP again. Lionhorn pickup from that Golem. That's a huge find for Happy. The Torn Chieftain is taking a lot of damage, but again, he has Hellstone Potion of Vulnerability just like before. The Scroll the Beast is about to run out in a couple of seconds. That's a big stomp from Fly, but where's the follow-up damage? He's going for a Destroyer, but Happy has so much mana left over.
He's got such strong heroes now as well. One Destroyer gonna go down, but Fly's gonna lose everything here soon. 443 levels. So strong now for the undead. He can make use of Dark Ritual on the skeletons. There's so much mana. The statues in the back cannot be taken out, cannot be contested. The big strength of the Blade Master here is lacking, is missing. Kodo B is gonna fall, and soon will everything else. Happy absolutely towering over him now. 55 supply. He gets a measly 42. More raiders fall. The heroes are not strong enough. Shadow only level 3, not good enough. TC, only level 2, I mean. TC only level 3, not good enough. Happy has run away with this game and will claim the 1-0 here, certainly, for too long.
Yeah, as soon as Happy's out of mana, Fly's out of units entirely. He manages to get a destroyer, but he's spending all of his damage just dealing with these level 2 minions. There goes the Farseer, and this is going to be a pretty much an easy peasy 1-0 for Happy. There's the GG from Fly, and we're going to Last Refuge.
Right on. Damn. Solid game one from both players. I wonder when they contested for the Murgle red spot, Fly had so much mana on the TC left. That is, of course, a testament of strength to how good the silences were, but also, don't you have to spam that stomp, especially in a moment where ghouls are still there? I think if there was one big mistake in the fight, it was probably that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Happy's micro with the ghouls as well, like just moving them towards the red camp and away from that first stomp. It almost landed on all the ghouls, and then you land a chain lightning. You shift click all the ghouls. Before you know it, all that normal damage is gone, and the headhunters and especially the raiders are a lot safer. I think that one stomp dodge was a huge deal, but yeah, definitely like the carry of the army for Fly is the Torn Chieftain. You need to land as many stomps as flush as you possibly can in the fight, or else where's your damage? You don't have that Blade Master. Your units are already squishy. It's all about the stomps landing, and they definitely weren't as good as they need to be against Happy, I'd say.
I'd agree so far, but don't count Fly out. He definitely has strong comeback capabilities. I think he also played better than earlier today in the DP League, where he was defeated 1-3 by Focus, where that didn't really look competitive, to be honest. But here, he's ready to fight the fight.
Last Refuge. You said it, Remo Dima. You said you think this is a good orc map. Is it good enough for Fly to play a very similar style and have much different results, you think? Or is it going to come down to just cleaning everything else up a little bit?
I think this map is indeed very similar to Tidehunters. There's also late game creeping to be done. Very good for Shadowhunter third. It's pretty good for Headhunter creeping as well. I think the difference is this is a map way weaker for grunt creeping. And I think Fly won't really go Blade Master here. And I think this is working out to his detriment recently. Lin, for example, we saw sometimes playing Blade Master, although not that much. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure, but I still feel like Blade Master may be the way to go in this matchup because the statues, man. The statues win these fights every time. Over time, sustain, never touched, when perfectly positioned, like Happy is doing. You can't reach him, you can't kill him, and over time the Unit's gonna whittle you down. With the Blade Master, you have a weapon to take out those statues, but a Blade Master also very hard to play, much harder than a Farseer Headhunter style, and probably a style you have to play very regularly to keep in shape, so it might not be the best choice here to play it now for Fly. He's probably gonna stick with the Farseer Headhunters. What can you do better? I think you want to try to move your TC perhaps a bit better, pop that Invul Potion a bit faster, but it's also so hard to find those ghoul connections. Like, seriously, the first stomp in the fight, I feel like has such a big swing momentum-wise. It doesn't exactly decide the fight, but it has a huge influence.
Absolutely, yeah. And I definitely agree with you to think that, Blade Master might be the way to go. I'm definitely a fan of it personally, and I know my good friend Hitman's a big fan of it as well. And, it has worked for Lin, it's worked for Focus, it's worked for Fly against Happy. But what has worked more, I suppose, has been the Farseer Headhunters, probably because it's just overall maybe the stronger strategy. But I think against this style of Happy in specific, how he plays, you need to play the Blade Master, I think. You need to try it out a little bit more. You got to perfect it a little bit more, but we're definitely not going to see it, at least from Fly, in the first two games. It will be the Farseer again. So yeah, can he clean it up? Can he clean up those stomps? Can he clean up that micro? And can he force the game, I think, importantly as well, into the later stage? It's got to get past that 12, 13-minute mark. You have to get to close to the late game to have a good shot, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm a big fan of the Blade, and I think it's really impressive when the Orcs play it perfectly, but there are other ways to play around it. Like, the problem with not playing Blade is you have the weaker heroes. The Farseer we saw in the last game, he's so ineffective, especially if he doesn't get level 4 and doesn't get level 2 Chain Lightning. In the end, Happy with his perfect Destroyer control, always going to take out the Wolves, and you have a dead hero, basically dead weight in the Farseer. You can, though, make up for it by banking more in the late game with more upgrades. Lin showed this, for example, before, with very early upgrades. If you get to 3-1 upgrades, or maybe even 3-2 upgrades on the Headhunters, they're super strong. Back that up with at least level 3 on every hero, and a big army, and you can have the stronger army in the late game. But these scrappy fights below 50 supply, and with somewhat low-level heroes and not the best upgrades, those will always favor Happy, I think. So I would like to see Fly bank more on the late game, play more passive, go more creeping, and take the resources out of the map. And I think this map might suit him better here, because on Tidehunters, you sort of have to contest the bottom left, because that's the juiciest part. Whereas in LR, there's juice sprinkled all over.
For sure, yeah, you can both get your own red camp. You both have those nice turtle camps in the corner. And a lot of the time, you'll both get a shop. I do think Fly will have maybe more of an opportunity to get the shop once he reaches that 4 or 5 headhunter count. But, of course, if Happy's able to get his creeping done as well as he did last game, he's already got the level 2, then he might be able to get those first consumables. 1 headhunter certainly will fall here. It's going to cost another coil, but I'd be surprised to see Happy not commit for that. Actually goes with the surround and lands it. That's a big mistake from Fly.
Was focused there on saving the Headhunter, trying to force at least the counter TP. The DK, though, is pretty tanky, and he will survive. At least the Headhunter shall not fall. It's a rough start again for Fly. Thank you, by the way, to our supporters. Black Link with a 32-month resub. Bob Sakamano with a 32 months. Naratik with the 8 months. Tarmok with the €2 says, been a bit since I've been able to watch multiple streams within days due to the new job, or play myself. Really glad I catch W3Champions finals. Keep going strong, guys. Nemok with a 3 months. Thank you very much. Fat Jesus with a 15. Pat Star, first time sub. Ironic LMS with a first time sub. And Champesk, your personal legend, with a 60-month resub.
Champ. 2 of my favorite YouTube casters of all time are in the chat right now. Champesk and Sir Pirby. Pog Champ. Here comes Fly again. Pog Champ, and with those wolves, going to be able to get 1 ghoul kill and an acolyte kill. A little bit more experience. Can't complain with that. And Happy is healing up. He's using that replenishment potion. Getting so much value out of it.
He moved out without heal cells. If Happy chases him and uses 2 coils, this Farseer is just dead.
He's got the aura. He definitely could just do that. Is it
he
just
gonna realize? He's dead. He's dead to rights. Yeah,
there's one.
I told you! He's gonna eat him alive! Oh, he denied himself? Alright, nicely done.
But now the Headhunter's out of position. Whoa. Oh, Fly. Oh, Fly. A ghoul went down to the creeps. A little bit chaotic, but Happy's going to end up hugely ahead. He's the one getting experience here after all.
Oh my god.
And this is going to be another Headhunter. The one Headhunter is being chased by a ghoul towards the tavern, and 2 more are red HP. There's no coil, so Fly has a small chance to at least save one of these 2 red HP Headhunters, but Fly is looking to be in a rough position now. Happy's no way he's going to let all of these get away. There's level 3. Oh no, Remo Demo. Oh no.
That's what we call a yikes.
That's what we call a disaster.
Disaster, everybody. Farseer's back at least.
Yeah, that's a rough one. This is one of the more extreme experience differences we've had. 77 experience versus 551. That's a pretty crazy. Dark Ranger
Wolf
second,
surrounded.
as Happy wants to keep up the pressure. He's around the wolf as well. He's showing off now.
Man, this is tough. One thing in Fly's favor, I suppose, the Death Knight doesn't have any coils right now. But Happy's already on his way to tier 3, and Fly is never going to be able to get creeping done, and all Happy has to do is wait for tier 3, and then he can hit such a strong timing with that Lich third.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fly needs to get the hero kill. It's the only way back into this game. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
This
TC?
is a brutal smackdown without comparison. What is going on here?
This is the most one-sided game of this whole tournament so far, I feel like. This is insane performance from Happy. Fly making 1 small error, or maybe 2. The surround was the one I was thinking of, but then, of course, as you pointed out, moving out without salves, not waiting for the shop, was the other, maybe larger error there, and Happy not letting the advantage slip away. So far ahead, and is continuing the pressure now.
There's an end snare on the Headhunter. Of course there is. The next one.
Man. Saves the ghoul, maybe? No, that's a third ghoul going down for Happy, but obviously it doesn't really matter. What is this? 8 headhunters so far.
Oh, the Dark Ranger kill. Can he get that one at least? Happy just wants to get every little bit that he can. He's not satisfied with leaving anything on the plate.
Oh, man. All right, DK has a coil. Could always go back in if he wanted super extreme value, but it seems like Happy's going to consolidate. And he's pulling more ghouls. No, is he going to go forward again? I don't know if he can creep this shop with what he has currently. I suppose if he tanks with the Dark Ranger. But, needs that first statue for sure. That would be very useful for Happy. Fly, of course, it's not going to be creeping too fast himself, though, so...
Dude, what a sick early game this was. Jesus. Farseer forced to TP out so early. Maybe Fly felt that he couldn't give up the bottom right. He had to take some risk. He knew that DK was already level 2. Perhaps he didn't want to give him level 3. He felt he couldn't give him level 3. It's a downside of this build, I guess, right? You skip the shop for so long, you save so many resources from that, but if you're forced into a bad position, suddenly you don't have salves. And that's a no bueno. Imagine if Fly wins this game, though. What a comeback.
Yeah, right. It's not impossible if, again, like we were talking about earlier, if he can force it into the late stage, if he can survive here, not die to the tier 3 timing as Frenzy finishes soon for Happy, and Lich is going to soon be out with Orb as well. If he can survive the next 2-3 minutes and go into ideally a creeping war, even if Happy gets more of the map in that creeping war, that's how Fly can somehow have a comeback.
Bye, Sly, with the 18-month resub. Thank you. Fast level 4 on the DK along with Frenzy Ghoul is just so crazy. Those little buggers just zip around the map. So hard with the TC also to land that perfect money stomp. Even if you have the invul, to time it perfectly against the silence can be rough. Speaking of silence being used nicely here to creep the red camp. Surprisingly easy to do when the High Priest isn't up to his shenanigans.
And no bloodlust either, no shockwave, a lot of nice things here, and Happy did get... Oh my god, he got endurance, or I can't complain with that. You're speaking of movement speed for the ghouls, and now look at him go.
And that's level 4. Oh my god. That is a little, Michael Schumacher's right there. You know that reference, Carson?
I heard the name, don't get the reference, but I know the name.
He is one of the best Formula 1 drivers of all time. And then, very tragically, he ended up becoming a hospital vegetable because he was skiing too fast.
Really?
That's not even a joke. Yeah, that's sadly true.
He just wanted to go fast, no matter what.
Gotta go fast.
If you're not first, you're last, Remo Demo.
What? I didn't understand. What, July?
What? You don't know that quote?
Which quote? What?
If you're not first, you're last?
If you're not first, you're last?
Hey, you know that one?
No.
Ricky Bobby. Come on, Ricky Bobby.
Who's Ricky Bobby?
Oh no. We need to educate you, Remo Demo. The Legend of Ricky Bobby is one of the most classic
you have
films.
so many obscure movie quotes, dude. It's impossible.
I'm talking, it's on par with Citizen Kane, Remo Demo, okay? This is a classic.
Alright, I'm gonna embarrass myself right now. I never watched Citizen Kane, to be honest.
It's a little bit of a snobbery movie to watch. I like it. I think it actually is entertaining, but you just watch it to say you've watched it for the most part. Helm of Valor.
Valor! TC, pretty tanky here. Where's the Shadow? Oh, he's not even out yet. In the meantime, we see the Lich on level 2 with good items. Dark Ranger 3, DK 4. Happy's in a good spot to just take a fight. Wants to break up keep first, perhaps. Yep, there it is. 56. So many skellies. Yeah, this fight's already over.
Yeah. He only stomps the skellies right now. The Lich with insane items, and... Okay, that's not bad. Scroll the Beast Destroyer goes down, wanted to win. But look at all the skellies, man. What are you supposed to do? I guess Hero Focus is the only play, but with what army? And where's the Shadow? Shadow's now here. Maybe Hex. But there's just no shot.
Yeah, Fly with some big mistakes. Like, you can never engage into an army, especially when you're already behind, when there's like 8 skellies on the ground. That's never gonna work. Maybe you felt he couldn't give up the bottom right with all the creeps there and all that. I mean, he was in a unwinnable position anyways. Took a risk, perhaps. But took too many risks, I want to say. Farseer exposed himself to the surround, then came back to enjoy more of those death coils. And ever since then, it's been downhill. Happy is going to move on here. The question is just when are we going to see the tap?
Glitch gonna get level 3, Happy gonna get the bottom right, and Fly gonna pick up the scraps on the map, which actually will be a decent camp to the upper left, but no TP, push and vulnerability. Struggling to even get level 2 on the Shadow Hunter. Happy would need to give Fly a whole lot of time, and even then, I think Happy's heroes would still be too strong.
Happy about to be 5-4-3. That is where officially things, yeah, very scary. Still so many creep camps as well left for Happy to go for.
He's expanding. Why not? When you're ahead, get further ahead.
That's right, Artie.
This DK5 from this turtle, by the way. No, he didn't quite calculate it perfectly. All right. A little sad, Happy. I mean, do better.
Maybe next time we can play a decent game.
Yeah, right.
We are going to see him again today. He's going to play 2 matches in the upper bracket final in about 1 hour 30 maybe. He's going to face his opponent, Sok or Soen. We know who he would be preferring. Sok versus Soen. Who do you think is going to be favored, by the way?
Soen's been playing like a god. I think Soen's going to win the whole tournament. Oh god, he plays so good, man. I am stoked to see Soen. Yeah, I think Soen's going to own everyone.
Somebody's excited. Okay.
He played insane, out of his mind, ridiculous, Lin level. I am stoked for Soen.
Yeah, Soen came in through the play-ins. If you guys were here last week, that was sick. 2-0-40 and 2-0 Moon. That was pretty crazy. This DK is never ever gonna die. 1200 HP, Frost Armor, Evasion. He can eat every single Stomp, every single Hex, and Chain Lightning, and he's just gonna shrug it off. Like a Giga
No
Chad.
Ring of Regen, though. He could have used that Ring of Regen from last game, and then he'd be even better, you know?
That's true. Isn't it funny how all of our favorite item nowadays is Ring of Regen?
Yeah.
It's just so nice. It's such a favorite item.
People always hated on it back in the day, but, you know, I never did. I always believed. But I don't believe in Fly right now, unfortunately to say. He scouts the expansion, and now he's on a timer, or is he just going to Tiny? He might just Tiny.
Yeah, I think his best bet is go for a Tiny and hope that Happy leaves you alone.
Yes.
For like 3 minutes. What's
Plus
the
3
burst
attack.
upgrades?
No.
Whoa! That's pretty good. He's
Dude,
completely
+10
neglecting
for the
armor, though. That's something I'm not so fond of seeing.
Hmm.
That one armor upgrade, it's so value.
True, yeah. Boosts him up quite a bit. Especially against the orb. Dude, his headers doing, his berserkers rather, I suppose, doing so much damage. If only Fly could get up to the 68 supply that Happy's currently on. Happy's not going super aggro right now. Maybe he's afraid of the wolves. He might actually wait for a Nerubian, and that might just be enough time for Fly to at least get up to 60 supply.
Like, if they both fight at 80, I see Fly here ahead, with, however, the caveat that the Shadow is really weak. That's a big problem. Only level 2. But the TC is about to be 4. Farseer is 4 already. Mana looking good. But Happy's gonna pounce now, and that is a big supply lead, and these heroes are so dangerous. Oh, and illusions. Oh, use the Hex to get rid of one of them. Coilnova on the TC. Oh my god, he's almost dead already. No ring on the TC, and there you can see his health drop. Best option now is try to force the TP on the DK, but he's so tanky. Look at him. Look at him. With all that bonus strength and evasion, and the TC. Oh my goodness. Says goodnight, sayonara. And with that, your only good hero is gone.
Oh,
Trying again
he
to force
just
the
can't land this
TP.
around. Yeah, he tried a couple times to land this around on the DK in this series, but both times the DK slips out one side. That's 2 of 3 heroes down, and as expected, Happy's going to be taking this. Pretty dominant, did not let the advantage from the early game slip, and this is just a matter of time. Even if that DK dies at this point, Happy is still 67 supply. GG is called, and Happy dominates Fly 2-0.
Yikes! That second game was not really competitive at all, especially compared to the first one or to the series that we've seen from Fly in the play-ins against Colorful, where he had that crazy comeback. Not today. Happy getting his revenge from TP League, and that looked almost angry how he absolutely destroyed him here.
Yeah, that early game, man. Sometimes the orc comes in, gets 3 last hits, kills 3 ghouls, and the undead can never leave their base. That happens probably to a lot of people that are undead players on the ladder, I'm sure. Or sometimes DK gets 2 camps, gets a couple headhunter kills, gets level 3 really quick, and then just pounces and kills everything over and over again. That's the strength of this new ghoul style that Happy's been showing us recently. Is if you manage to get your level 3 DK, if you manage to get in a good aggressive position and find the headhunters and creep jack the Tauren Chieftain, you can win the game off straight harass with just 2 heroes. But it all comes down to the first couple minutes of the game, of course.
I hope we get the somewhat marvelous lower bracket run from Fly. He's definitely capable of doing so. But in the lower bracket, there's quite some challenges. He will, of course, be up against the loser of Sok and Soin, and then Focus is waiting, who he played already today and lost 3-1. So tough day. We've seen him better. But what we didn't see better is playing conditions for Warcraft 3. And you know why? Because we got W3Champions, everybody. A little bit proud of that segue. This is what we celebrate here, and this is why we are running these season-end tournaments when Blizzard let us all down and had this very rudimentary multiplayer experience shipped with Reforged. A couple of volunteers stood up and built this amazing server where everybody is playing at the moment. Even the Chinese are playing there. Abandoned netties, because we got more features, we got better solutions for basically everything you need. You have your profiles, your rankings, your your leagues, your ladders in melee and custom games. All you gotta do is to install a little third-party program with 3 clicks or so, and then just click the play button, and there you go. If you want to, you can set up your hotkeys, as in the original Warcraft 3. You still have to edit text files. Here we got a UI for that, and then you play on one of the 28 servers we got for perfect conditions for global matchmaking. And this is something that Blizzard will probably never ever introduce, and this is why it's so important that you support this project as well. W3Champions.com is where you get that tool and where you also find ways to support the project. 28 servers cost 28 times money, plus a couple of proxies. So you see, for a project of volunteers, this is not that cheap to run. So maybe if you have $1 or $2, you can think about getting a Patreon subscription, or just throw them a coin via PayPal, or a Bitcoin, or a little bit of Ethereum, or if you're in China, Alipay and WeChat. All the information on the right-hand side. And if money is a little short, or you're more a man of words, just join the Discord. There's a channel called Good Vibes, and let them know how much appreciate all the endless hours that go into the development and the maintenance of this beautiful server.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, go give him some nice words, or like you said, just give him a whole Bitcoin. Why not? You got a spare Bitcoin, anyone? Anyone? Hey, crypto millionaires over there? Throw him Bitcoin. Just one. Got many.
All right, so obey Carson. We are moving on to our last Winnerbracket Quarterfinal. Another Korean Derby. We had one before, and we will have one here. The last remaining human in the tournament against one of the 3 orcs. It is Sok versus Soin after a little break.